Okay, hey, look, we did a news video. I feel like I missed like what, like 2 weeks or something. We missed like 2 weeks of news. I was busy, crazy busy, and all the news I heard was either trolls or bad news. Yo, Facebook is so trash. I post reels on there. The amount of fake, I just spit. The amount of fake gamer posts on Facebook is outrageous. They just be lying, bro. I seen something on it. Dude said Rockstar cancels GTA 6 for Resident Evil 3 and moves Resident Evil 3 up. Like, move Resident Evil 3 up? Bitch, what you talking about? And people believe in that stuff. I don't know, but we have another week of gaming news. I'm going to talk about 2 or 3 topics that are a couple weeks old, but I didn't get to talk about them. They're kind of a big deal, so I feel like I have to do them now. The rest of the news is really going to be focused on what happened in the last week. The last 7 to 10 days, y'all don't really care, so let's get right into it. First things first, Fortnite, say it ain't so. They fired 1,000 motherfuckers at one time. Fortnite was the golden boy, the golden goose of gaming. As per reports, this translates to 20% of the entire workforce. That is a huge percentage. According to Tim Sweeney, affected employees will receive a severance package that includes at least 4 months of base pay with extended healthcare coverage. Laid off workers will also get accelerated stock options. Apart from the layoffs, Epic Games is also going through an internal overhaul via cost-saving measures in contracting and marketing. Sweeney claimed this result in cost saving for over $500 million. The company is also closing some open positions. Lastly, he's saying that AI is not the reason for the layoffs. Now, there's a couple of tweets here and stuff. I'm going to provide all links and receipts in the description. And also, YouTube has given us the ability to send y'all voice message replies. Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm just telling y'all right now, somebody gonna get told something. Here's a little more info. And the main thing says that stuck out to me was massive layoffs are a result of decreased Fortnite engagement and the company spending significantly more than it was making, and that major cuts must be made to stabilize its finances. What have I been telling you? I've been telling y'all that it's a cold world in the live service space for years, but more specifically since we started covering news. I've been telling y'all that damn near every single episode. I don't know why. If y'all see Fortnite is having these problems, that does not spell good things out for future studios and companies trying to do live service games. The industry is going to have to backtrack and course correct. So live services are going to exist, but I think the expectation and the money being put into that over traditional gaming is going to have to slow down, because these indie games is busting these people head to the white meat. It's getting outrageous. But it's tough to see Fortnite, but I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know. I played Fortnite when it was, the first like year and a half. I don't play Fortnite now. So I don't know what the game, how the game is. I don't know if the fan base is tired of the game. I don't know, but it says they have less player engagement. Whatever. I need some water. Yeah, now, this is what I don't like. Disney may be interested in acquiring Epic Games at some point, it's claimed. Yeah, a lot of times y'all don't like to listen. I'm here to tell y'all, I don't think acquisitions are a good thing. It may be a good thing for companies to make more money. But if you think that all the love for the art of a thing remains through acquisitions for all parties involved, you're living in some utopian place that's just never gonna happen. A lot of what we love has gone missing because of some type of acquisition. If you all take some time out and you just get a look at the games and the movies and the TV shows and all these things, stores, all these things that just aren't here anymore, you're probably going to see multiple acquisitions from that property, and at some point somebody just didn't care about it anymore, or somebody was not happy with how it was performing. Even if it was performing about on par with how it always performed, once you get a bigger company, they want more from you. You can't do it, you're out of here. I say a lot to say I'm not excited for acquisitions of any kind, especially with what I'm going to give y'all. There's more news coming up here in some later segments here. I just don't see it being a good thing. It could have been, but I think people being able to operate independently creates more competition, keeps the prices down, and it keeps opportunity for the art that we love to keep being made. You know what I mean? Listen, if you got 2 kids, you can mold and treat those 2 kids and let those 2 kids like to no end. Motherfucker, if you got 30 kids, it's gonna get tough. Somebody will get neglected. That's acquisitions, bro. You can't take care of all these kids, man. They can't. They just too much. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many ideas. Too many art ideas. Too many money ideas. Anyway, in February of 2024, Disney announced that it's making a $1.5 billion investment in to acquire stake in Epic Games, which would include the creation of a new persistent is that the whole games and entertainment universe. He had two goddamn quotations here. So let's move down. Gaming in general is having a hard time. But if you look at Roblox growth, which is where Epic has been trying to take Fortnite into more of an open world creator first ecosystem where creators can build businesses building on top of Fortnite, Roblox is just killing with that. Me and Ricky was talking about this. No, me and Trey was talking about this. That's what's happened. Roblox is kind of like Amazon, like a farmer's market. Y'all can come here, sell your products, make your art, sell them through our service, and we'll do it that way. Then a lot of when you have a platform like that, the developers don't have to do as much work to build experiences because they have players doing it. So when Fortnite added the creator mode or whatever that was, where you could go in there and they had, you know, a lot of the still a brain rod and the only up and all that kind of stuff, somebody made that. So that's the direction. They just told you they wanted to go in that direction. But gaming in general is having a hard time. Or are you talking about big budget studios and live service? I would agree with that. But other than that, I mean, I'm seeing games going crazy. They just don't have ginormous, outrageous budgets. And they don't have $1 billion people over their head all day. But we'll see what happens with this. Alani then reiterated that the new Disney CEO was keen on the relationship with Epic because he sees it as a linchpin of the entire interactivity of Disney Plus, where Disney Plus becomes the portal into your entire Disney experience, including shopping, gaming, socializing, and, you know, luxuriating in the Disney brand. The Fortnite is a part of that for sure. I don't like this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Acquisitions aren't about art. Ever. Give a shit. Moving on. Ubisoft. Yeah, Ubisoft ends game development at Tom Clancy's studio Red Storm, resulting in 105 job losses. I'm telling you, these big corporations is struggling. They struggling to breathe, bruh. And to alleviate the pressure on their necks, they got to fire some people. They saying they can't do it. Founded in 1996 by Tom Clancy, Red Storm developed the first games based on the author's books, including Shooters, Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon, which would go on to become significant game franchise. The studio was acquired, right? I'm telling you, acquisitions, bro. By Ubisoft 2000, and they went on to develop numerous Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six sequels, including Advanced Warfighter, 2006. Now, it says here that they've been actually working on VR games such as Werewolves Within, Star Trek Bridge Crew, and Assassin's Creed Nexus. No, no, and no. Its most recent project, the free-to-play The Division Heartland, canceled in 2024 following a series of public tests. So another cancellation of a live service game. Now here we go. Ubisoft's decision to end game development at Red Storm comes as a part of its global cost-saving plan, which has so far resulted in the cancellation of 6 games, the postponement of 7 others, and 2 studio closures. Always not save money. AI stuff is gonna be real touchy, y'all. I'm gonna tell you why. Cost of making video games now, for whatever reason, and I'm talking about the big budget, the bigger studios, is bloated to hundreds of millions of dollars, it seems. They're going to start using, they're going to say that AI is a must for the game industry to survive. I think that's going to be some rhetoric that's going to get tossed around here. If you do see that, just know that I knew it was coming. Because maybe in their minds, it can alleviate having to pay people to spend as much if they go with AI. I don't know, man. Moving on. Here's a list of games that Red Storm was actually working on, guys. Seasonal content for Rainbow Six, Brawlhalla, Beyond Good and Evil 2. This game, this is getting the Duke Nukem Forever. This has been in development forever. There was a new Ghost Recon. It looks like they were more in a support role than their own development role. Sound work, Splinter Cell, projects on what projects? Ubisoft, what Splinter Cell projects? What you work? It's been 12 years. You with Splinter Cell? I'm gonna relax, bro. Unannounced director's cut of Watch Dogs. Can we just get a new Watch Dogs and act like Legion never happened? God, bro. I get so upset when we don't find out what games were actually being like worked on until after a closure, and then we find out that the game that was being worked on is no longer worked on, and you get surprised. PlayStation. I told y'all last episode, shit was looking real critical, and it continues to be. They just shut down another studio. Dark Outlaw Games. Now they formed the studio in 2025. So it's not a long time studio, but the director was the founder. Was a director of COD Zombies, it says. They didn't even make it a full year. They ain't do that. They ain't put no games on it. Ain't much to say. You know what I mean? They closed. But like, I can't look at a game that they had and say, damn, what's gonna happen with this game? Because they didn't have no games that they put out yet. So it says more PlayStation layoffs are reportedly coming soon. The report also claims that more layoffs will be hitting Sony soon. Insider notes that the number is expected to be small. It suggests that the company has continued to make major cost-saving cuts. Studio closures follow several high-profile failures from Sony PlayStation studios. The most infamous one being Concord, which is now this has become like a verb in 2024. $200 to $400 million on this game, and it made it a week. This has to be Sony's biggest failure in their history, bro. It gotta be. And really, like, reflect on that shit. You spent, let's go right up the middle. You spent 300 M's, and the game closed in a week. No buzz, nothing. Here's a list of studios that PlayStation has shut down over the years. And while this is a decent sized list, it's not as long as I thought it was. If we were to look up EA, it'd probably be double this. As of recent closures, Bluepoint, Dark Outlaw, Gorilla Cambridge, London Studio, Manchester Studio. Damn, oh wait, this is a lot. So since COVID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. God, too many kids. And let's continue. The PlayStation news, it gets worse. Last of Us Online was 80% complete before being canceled. Courtesy of IGN. It's amazing how the first Last of Us launched with a multiplayer alongside the single player. They had a great, they did both things well. I just told y'all, we're at the point in the game industry where people can't seem to do two great things at one time. So you have to pick, do we go live service or do we go single player? And PlayStation, I think time to go back to the drawing board, my boys, because the live service, I know Helldivers work well, but they didn't make that. PlayStation again. PlayStation is apparently testing dynamic pricing on games. Who gonna justify this? Who? Some people are gonna pay more than other people for the same product. You might log on to your shit, a game might be 70. Somebody else might log on, it might be $67, $63. Let's get into the specifics. Dynamic pricing is a revenue model where a company will switch up the cost of an item for different users, obviously. These changes are dependent on a variety of factors: purchasing history data, location, inventory, demand, time of day, weather, and income level. So it's gonna be like buying airline tickets. You buy the shit on Wednesday, it's more expensive, or like you call it Uber. If you call that shit when a lot of people call it's more expensive, it's ridiculous. In case of the PlayStation Store, a website called PS Prices, if y'all want to go here, has been tracking the numbers across Sony's digital platform. So yeah, according to the price tracking website, price differences can fall anywhere between 5.3 to 7 to 18%. The test only included price decreases, not price hikes. The experiment has also not occurred within the United States. I guess that's the key. It hasn't. But you know, this is what people do. Well, it hasn't happened. It's gonna happen though. How many times are y'all gonna ignore some shit that's on the way and then it get here and then you get mad later? Why do you need to wait? This shit is out of control, bro. You would think that people that have had their PlayStation accounts for a very long time, who buy a lot, you would think that they would get special discounts and rewards and opportunities. You've been with the company forever. But that's not what it is. It looks like if you don't spend a lot, they're going to try to lower the prices to get you to spend. And fuck everybody else. I don't know. This is all speculation. Okay? I don't know how they're doing it. I don't like this. This is not a good idea. It's ridiculous. Sony CEO has told investors that the publisher intends to mitigate slowing PS5 hardware sales by finding ways to further monetize the existing PS5 base. Dynamic pricing could arguably be used to fulfill that mission. I'm gonna say something in a minute because it don't stop here. PlayStation, the price of hardware. Xbox had their hardware increases. So what about Xbox hardware? None of this is good. When I bought my PS5 with a disc drive, it was $500 at launch, 2020, in the middle of supply chain problems, fresh out of lockdown when things were getting more normal a couple months after. Look at the price of a PS5 with a disc drive now. $650. Well, it's not PlayStation's fault. Let me tell you something, bro. I don't care whose fault it is. Your wallet, your bank account, all your bank account know is minus $650. Your bank account don't give a fuck why it say minus $650. Don't come in here with a whole list of excuses why. That's not my problem. It is not my problem. It's not. You can't be that much of a fan, bro. PlayStation Pro. I feel like an idiot too. I'm in Carter's stream, bro. This was like 3-4 weeks ago. I'm like, I'm getting a PS Pro. I'll get a PS Pro now. I like to get physical copies of games whenever I can. And they don't have a physical version of the PS Pro. You have to buy a disc drive, which is a separate $100+ attachment. So all in all, I was looking at like $8 something for the disc drive and the PS Pro. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. should have bought the shit. Because now what was a $750 console has jumped up a whopping $150 to $900 in just a few weeks. I have a PlayStation Portal already. I was going to buy, and I am going to buy my nephew his PlayStation Portal for his birthday. I was already late. I was supposed to get it for him in January. I should have bought the shit. Now it's $250 instead of $200. We always take the L, bro, when stuff going on. You know, the corporations don't really take the L's like we take the L's. They will pass on the price increases to your nut ass. Gaming is becoming so absurdly expensive that it doesn't make any sense. And then you hear this dumbass shit. I just sound like brokies. That's beside the point, bro. You know how many people can afford something but don't want to pay the price, the asking price for it? Man, that's ridiculous, bro. Come on, bro. It was selling Travis Scott for $1,300. Somebody a brookie because they didn't want to spend $1,300 on some shoes? Maybe they was willing to spend $600. Even that is ridiculous. But whatever, bro. People gonna come in here and somebody gonna say some dumb shit in the comments too. And then we gonna get on their ass, bro. All right, moving on. Let's try to get through these quickly. The new CEO of Xbox got rid of the "This is an Xbox" campaign because it didn't feel like Xbox. Yeah, there was a while where everything was an Xbox. Your Fire Stick, they even had Xbox branded Fire Stick. It's a bad idea, man, because it tells somebody that they don't need to go out and buy the hardware for this product. And while people might say, well, that just puts more games in the hands of players. The people at the center of this shit, people want to be able to go on console. PC is obviously a platform, of course. But when you're playing shit on Fire Sticks and all this other stuff, and apps on the TV and all that, I think it actually does harm the brand. And she also agrees with me. And this is something we said before, but nobody want to listen. Now that the CEO's saying it, are they going to come back and apologize and say y'all was right? No, they're not. They're going to act like they didn't hear nothing we said. TVs, laptops, VR headsets, Fire Sticks. Your platform has to have an identity. And one of the ways that you have that identity is to have stuff that feels like you can only get it by going there. Anyway, we're going to let her cook. We'll see what she's doing. She's making some interesting changes, some of which it sounds like the fan base wanted for a while. But the main thing, I see people asking for consoles for Xbox to come back or exclusives. Don't hold your breath, boys. You're making too much money selling shit on PlayStation now. It's over with. Moving on. Xbox and Netflix kicking around ideas for subscription bundles. They're looking to try to get Xbox Game Pass bundled with Netflix. Y'all might like that. Y'all might not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we know Game Pass already being $30 a month for me was too much. I canceled my shit last year because I don't play $360 worth of games on Xbox. And I will buy every single one of the exclusives that they make that I want for $60 before I commit to not owning anything and paying that much money per year. That's a lot of money per year for subscription service. So that tells me that the prices are going to go up again, possibly. Be on the lookout for that. Netflix is raising its prices again as of March 26th. So now you're talking Game Pass being available for this. And I think this is very funny. You want to go ahead and read what's on here. All these cost increases come just 2 months after Netflix announced it had 23 million new subscribers. These companies, they want to announce all these new numbers that they come in here, and then they're going to come in here and tell you that everything is bad. Yo, if you, the gaming industry, while video games are the most profitable form of media in the world by far, no music, no TV, and no movies are touching video games at all. Not even fucking close. So knowing that, when I see these companies with all this woe is me, we're doing so bad shit, it really irks me, but whatever though. But yeah, Netflix is going to raise its prices again, and Game Pass will probably do the same thing. Also, don't be surprised if they start introducing more opportunities for lower tiers at the cost of you having to watch ads in the middle of stuff. DLSS 5 is some AI stuff that works in your games to optimize the experience, and it's supposed to be able to take the graphics from the right to the left. Don't know much about this. It might start to feel a little soulless if it looks too ridiculous. We'll see how it looks when it comes out, but these companies are gonna do what they're gonna do. It don't matter how much complaining we do, we're gonna see how this pans out.
we're showing along with one of their temporal characters, so they spent a lot of time developing and creating, gathering the skin. Sure, a lot more structured and layered with off coats, jackets.
Wait a minute, that's off.
Pretty obvious changes, but also things to notice will be like the clothing layering and texture, along with the metallic items. So with DLSS 5 on, things like their coats, jackets.
Let me know if y'all like this. Comment below. Comment below. Do you like DLSS 5? Now, it's obviously a more nuanced conversation because we don't know how it's going to be used and who's going to use it. Let's laugh at MindsEye real quick. They had a DLC mission that they were putting out that reveals evidence that the game was sabotaged. We don't give a fuck, sir. You sabotaged our wallets for $60. These companies, bro. Let's look at the comments on here. I found a really funny comment. Is this the first DLC ever developed purely as a coping mechanism? Actually, making a mission in the game simply to put blame on other people for the game's failure, that's a whole new level of pathetic. W comments, man. W comments. All right, Invincible versus. Anybody looking for this game? Here is the roster here. Here you go. It's the list of people here. Links will be provided if you want to go and see all the names. I'm not going to read all these. And here we are. These are the games coming out for the next week or so. I don't really see anything that speaks to me until Mouse PI for Hire, but that is almost 2 weeks out. Don't know what Pokemon Champions actually is. In this Darwin's Paradox game, I'm actually going to play this. I'm not doing any content on it, though. I'm about to play this. Anyway, guys, my throat hurt. My throat hurts. I've been talking all day. This is the longest news video y'all probably gonna get. We had a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. I went on mini rants and all that kind of stuff. Comment below, let me know what you think. And I feel bad for people that were saving up for PlayStations, Xboxes, and PCs because you all got royally screwed. Maybe y'all want to ride it out till the next console generation, which we don't even know when that's going to come now with all these price increases. Video games have gotten so outrageously expensive, the experience, that it doesn't even seem like you can just hop in and enjoy yourself for $400 anymore or $300 anymore. It seems like you're going to have to hop in for about $800, $700 with subscriptions, microtransactions, annual subscriptions to even play Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus, blah, 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 blah.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn